We've all got scars, some on the outside and some on the inside. But we can't be defined by our scars. I've spoken with some extraordinary people about how they've become empowered by their scars. This is I've Got Scars, baby. All right. Hello. Welcome.
Hi.
Thank you.
I have two very special guests today on the show. And we're going to do ladies first, of course.
Okay.
We have Miss Daarina Marie. She is a wonderful person, but she is an awesome TV producer.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay,
Welcome.
now.
Yes.
Go, girl.
And then we have Nick Reynolds.
Yes, ma'am.
I know y'all heard that accent.
Yeah. I'm country boy. To the heart.
And he is a very fabulous actor.
Yes, ma'am.
And we are going to talk about embracing your health and the scars of sickle cell disease. So as we're getting into this, people may not know a lot about, sickle cell disease. And, there's a lot of different, I guess, misconceptions. You just start thinking like, well, oh yeah, isn't that disease that Black people get? Like, it's a lot of things going on. So when we talk about sickle cell disease, what actually is sickle cell disease?
Well, it's a mutation in the gene that say your cells is like a circle. Ours is like crescent moon shape. So when oxygen can't flow through, like oxygen flow through your circle like that. So when it don't flow through, it's just like a roadblock, and that's when the pain starts. So our red blood cells, sickle is like a sickle shape. Sickle shape like a moon.
Okay.
We lose oxygen pretty quickly, so they break down a lot faster. But it's actually the most common genetic disease in the world. I got some facts right here,
Okay, so
I came prepared.
First of all, I just want to say thank you, Daarina. Like, Daarina is not playing around. She's like, look, I need y'all to understand what this is. And I appreciate, you wanting to have the facts and figures right there because, a lot of times there are misconceptions. We want to put out information that is accurate and true. So, yes, what are these facts?
So it's actually a group of inherited blood diseases that can cause severe pain, chronic anemia, and damage to vital organs. And about 2 million Americans have the sickle cell trait, and 1 of 500 African Americans live with the disease. Wow. So, and you were right. Like, a lot of people assume that it's only just like a black disease.
Yeah.
But because it is, trait based, you can't really help who you're going to get with. But
so how does someone know that they have a sickle cell trait? Is that something they have to go to the doctor and get tested? Like,
yeah, you have to have that test. Like, you have to go get the test to find out about it.
Okay.
So for us, like, if we want to marry somebody before we even get involved, we got to go get that blood test to make sure that the other person don't have the trait or anything, since I have the disease and she has the disease. So, like, 2 people with diseases can't get together.
Right.
Wow. 2 people with diseases.
Yeah, even if it's the trait, like, you still
Really?
can't get together.
Yeah.
So because that would mean automatically that the child will have it.
Absolutely.
And it won't survive.
Oh.
They're just going to be living with all kinds of issues.
And the lifespan is like
much shorter.
Oh my God.
Just a person living with sickle cell for a while, the lifespan wasn't that long, but now with, more treatment and other options for different types of surgery, bone marrow transplants, the life expectancy is a little bit longer now, but I think it was like no more than 40 years old.
Yeah, they told me, our doctor told me 21. He said, yeah, you might not make it past 21. I was like, we'll see.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So with that mindset, and were you told anything like that as well? Like that there might
Life
be like,
expectancy?
did the doctor say something like that to you?
I've always had pretty good doctors and people that were experts in that area, so not really. But I just had my own fear and phobia because I did have people in my family that lived with the disease. And one of my aunts, my mom's baby sister, died at the age of 21. So for the longest, I always wondered, is that going to be me? Mm-hmm. Am I going to, make it until I'm 21? And, I had a lot of complications in high school. Even when I was younger, I had a lot of pneumonia. I had it really bad when I was younger, as opposed to living with it now. But a lot of pneumonia. I had my gallbladder removed. My spleen began to shrink over time. And then at 19, I had a brain aneurysm that actually ruptured. So I almost died. So I was like, oh my God, all these things are happening. Am I going to make it? Am I next? But I'm still here. So yeah.
Wow.
See, for me, it was different. Like, I knew something was wrong with me. They knew something was wrong with me, but they didn't know what it was, because I had country doctors. And until this African doctor came to our town, that's when they found out that I had it. But I was going through problems. Like, I was like young, getting blood transfusion, in the country. I was outside playing. I was like 5 or 6.
Yeah. And
I went in to use the restroom, and I was urinating blood, and my mom freaked out, so she took me to the hospital. And there was a doctor. He said he got tendonitis or something. I was like, what? Oh, whatever. But then later on, an African doctor named Dr. Oshinawa said I had the sickle cell disease. So from then on, if it ain't no African, no doctor that's not from this country, I really don't want you to see me. Like, I want, because
you want someone that understand
what I'm going through, because you get discriminated a lot. Mm-hmm. I got discriminated a lot with this disease. Like, even when I moved out here, coming to the hospitals, like, they just, like, I be in the waiting room in pain about it's like, what the pain feels like, your bones breaking every hour. Every single hour, just breaking over and over and over. And, like, I'm just sitting there crying. Like, I'm usually tough. Like, I usually don't cry, but yeah. So
you said, let's go. So you said you were 5 years old, and that's when it was.
Yeah, but I had a blood transfusion earlier, but they just thought they didn't
know
why. They didn't know why.
They just said, he needs a blood transfusion.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Wow. So as far as for you, Daarina, when was the discovery made?
I was actually diagnosed when I was born. And both of my parents have the traits, but I'm not. That's the thing. I don't think we're really educated on it properly. And I know Nicholas brought it up earlier. Just, even just in schools, when you have your genealogy classes and science class, there's a paragraph that's dedicated to sickle cell. And, a lot of the times when you're just not educated on it properly, especially in our community, it's just very taboo to talk about it, when you should talk about it, because that can at least prevent you having a child that has a disease. But, my parents both come from just, that very old school mentality, very Southern. Yeah. My dad's side, the family is from, like Florida area, and my mom's family is all from Mississippi. So there wasn't really much conversation about sickle cell disease and educating yourself on this is the type of person you should get with and asking those questions. But I don't know. I believe that I just was having problems when I was born or whatnot, and then they found out that I had the disease, and with that, they were then educated on themselves. Yeah, it was backwards.
So it was like, okay, if I would have known that I had the trait, then I would have made my selection and selecting a partner. It would have been different.
But it's different for me because I got 2 brothers and a sister, and I'm the only one that has it. So I was like, wow, I'm the lucky one, huh? So, yeah, I know my mom has the trait, and I think, my dad has the trait too. So
you just never know in those types of situations.
None of my nieces or nephews has the trait or anything, and I'm so proud that they don't have it. Like, so, I mean, I don't know by generation, they might get it, like they kids, but yeah, it's just me. And I got a cousin that she just had a child that had it. So,
wow.
Because she had
married someone
from
with
sickle cell disease.
Oh, so she married someone with
she just
sickle
had
cell.
a baby with someone with sickle cell disease.
So she had a child
with
someone with sickle cell disease, and so her child now has sickle cell disease.
Yeah, and the child, like, she like 6, I think, 6 or 5, but she was going through so pain they had to put her in a coma. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
so because it was so bad.
So let's talk about these experiences, because when you look at, that's the thing about it. Sometimes we have, hidden scars. Like, just to look at you all, both of you, it's like, oh, all right, y'all just doing your thing. Yeah. You just living your best life. You have all the buffness going on in the world and so forth. And you just fly and just, And so to look at you, you would just think, okay, healthy person just doing their thing, living their best life. And that's, looks can be deceiving. Yes. Nobody would know that what you've been through. And neither of you are in your 40s. Like, you're young people, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, what has your experience been? Whoever wants to go first.
Just living. Well, like you said, it is one of those situations where it isn't external. So because of that, you do deal with you deal with discrimination sometimes when you have to go to the hospital because of pain, and you're literally, you're prescribed narcotics, and just the thought of that, you think narcotics, like, ooh, street drug. Mm-hmm. This person's just coming in here to get their fix. So a lot of the time, it's very common that people living with sickle cell are treated like addicts, or you just want more morphine. And I get IV medicine. But the pain is that severe. Literally, your blood cells form clumps in your bloodstream. So imagine something just kind of disrupting the blood flow, and you're having severe pain. And for me, it affects my joints. It affects my chest sometimes. I might get severe headaches a lot of everywhere, really, my back, my legs. The kind that I have, SS, is very common that you have that extreme pain when you go into a crisis, is what they're called. So, on a daily, I have pain every day. But because our pain tolerance is so high, you kind of just learn to push through and live with it. It's like, okay, it's almost kind of...
So is it like having cramps every day, or is it like having someone punch you in the stomach every day?
It's just like body pain. For me, it's like body pain every day. But I think because I've lived with it so long and my pain tolerance is so high, it's almost like, oh, there it is again, in passing. Sometimes I won't even think about it. I'll just, like the other day I was sitting in the office and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And you keep working. But then when the severity, when it's severe for me when I can't control it with, like an ibuprofen at home. I'm like, all right, I got to go into the hospital, because the longer you go without treating the pain, the worse it becomes. So.
Wow. Okay. And you talked about discrimination. You've already had so many, you said, gallbladder removed, your spleen. Like, how is someone going to discriminate against you? They know what your chart says.
When you're because, like, again, you said it's not physical, and they're not necessarily going straight to your chart. So, for example, the last biggest thing that I had was another brain surgery. My ex got me to the hospital in time, and this is the one, my ex is very animated and just can be very temperamental sometimes, but this is the one time he actually kind of helped to save my life, because when I got there, my hair's disheveled all over my head. I'm in a wheelchair, so first thing they think is like maybe a homeless woman off the street, a drug addict coming in, and they were about to make me wait in the waiting room. And so he's yelling at them. He's like, if you just look at her chart, you know, she has a history of this. He was very educated on everything that I was going through at the time, the brain surgery. He's like, look up her doctors. So finally, they got me in right away. And literally, as soon as they got me into the back area, they were like, you know, thank God you got her here when you did, because at the time I had meningitis that had spread so quickly that they were just like, right now it's a 50% chance that she might live. But if you got her here any later, she probably wouldn't have made it.
Oh, my God. Okay. Nick,
Well, for me,
your experience, like in and out, because when I spoke with you about doing the show, you had just gotten out of the hospital.
yeah. And I was like,
yeah, no, I know. It was a situation where it was just like, I have to talk to you in a couple of days. So what has your experience been?
so for me, growing up, like I didn't have a good relationship with God. I was mad all the time. It's like I was born with this disease. What did I do wrong? Like I went through mental, physical, and emotional, but I couldn't tell nobody. It's, you know, nobody will understand, especially in the country. Like they don't. Or whatever. So just growing up, like I always used to get bullied and picked on because I was always the last one in PE, all that, because people think I was just all lazy and fat. But it was the sickle cell. Like working out or doing anything physical activity, it's like you got 100-pound vest on you, and this person just healthy people don't have nothing on them, and they can just run full speed. So me trying to run full speed with 100-pound vest and hurting. Wow. So my pain feel like every time I'm in pain, it feel like my bones finna just shatter. Like it's horrible. If you ever had anything shatter, like even if it's a twisted ankle, like it just feel like somebody stabbing me and just twisting the knife. And I usually get my pain in my legs, my back, and in my spine. I was supposed to get my spleen taken out in high school. I was playing football. And I was out there, you know, hitting, doing what I was supposed to do. And then I was like, Mom, I need to go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital, and my spleen was, like, swollen. And the doctor said if I would have took one more hit on my side, I would have died on the field. Oh, my God. So I had to quit playing football. So I was like, okay, whatever, you know. I'm going to keep fighting, keep going. And then I moved out in college. I would get sick when the weather changed. Like, with sickle cell, is stress can cause a pain crisis. Temperature changes, flights, like a headache. If somebody sneezes around us, we can catch the cold, and it can cause a crisis. Like, you got to be really strong, emotional to, you know, not to cause a crisis. Like, I'm in pain all the time, too. I have SC, like, but I feel like all of it's bad. Like, because, you know, some people say certain diseases are bad, like certain of the steps are better than others. That's just like saying breast cancer is better than colon cancer, you know, but it's all bad.
Yeah.
And it's like I felt like the doctors was used to low-key didn't understand that I was in pain. Like, my blood pressure be like 200 and something. Like, wow. I'm like, how am I faking this? And you got me sitting here talking about, oh, I'm going to give you some Tylenol. You're not finna give me no Tylenol. That's not finna do. I'm not leaving this hospital. Wow. Like I've been on Demerol. I've been on morphine. I'm allergic to morphine now, but morphine. I've been on Dilaudid. I've been on all types of medicine. I've been on Percocets. I've been on Lortabs. I've been on Vicodin. I've been on oxycodone. I've been on Oxycontin. I've been on all the little rappers, whatever they be talking about.
Yeah, that's what to say.
I've been on that at an early. I've been on that at an early age. Hydrocodone. I've been on all that at an early age. So you build a tolerance to the medicine.
Yeah.
So I don't know about her, but like when I'm in the hospital, they give me like 2 shots of Dilaudid in my veins. I'm like, yo, that I need more. That's not gonna work, because 2 shots of Dilaudid is like equal to like I think like 12 milligrams of morphine. You know, like, because Dilaudid is a very powerful medicine.
They compare it to like heroin.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So I get Dilaudid. I need like too.
So they give you that because the pain is
alleviate the pain.
Because
that's all you're doing, because there's no cure. So all you can really do is control the pain.
So you actually just, when you're in the hospital, you're not getting cured. It's like, they just making sure you don't have no heart attack.
Because your body can't take
go
it.
into shock.
Go into shock.
Make sure you're getting fluid. So the best thing is not dehydrate, like drinking much water and always having fluid. So when you're in the hospital, I run through bags like it's nothing. And then I have oxygen. Like, it's horrible. That's why when you called me, I was like, man, I thought you was trying to shoot like that week or something. I was yo, I can't even do it. Like, it even affected me because I was I had an audition, like a 2-episode co-star to audition for.
Wow.
That it hit that Tuesday, but I was sick there. I was in the hospital Friday, so I emailed my agents like, yo, I'm in the hospital, I'm booking out. But somehow she still, you know what I'm saying? She's an agent, she gonna work for me. So she sent it, and I was like, yo, if you can get them, if I can do it on Wednesday, because I was in the hospital on Tuesday, but I was getting out on Wednesday. And I was like, I'll get there, you know, but I couldn't make it because I couldn't even leave my house. Like, I was so mentally drained. And going in the hospital, that's bad, but coming out is even worse because you got to come down from all that medicine. Like, the withdrawals is horrible. Like, all I'll be smelling is medicine. I wouldn't want to eat nothing. I just lay, and I don't sleep in the hospital. I stay up. Like, if I'm in the hospital for 7 days for the crisis, I'm up 7 days straight. The pain medicine, they try to give me Benadryl. They give me 50 milligrams of Benadryl with the Dilaudid, because Dilaudid have you itching, like real bad, about to scratch your skin off. They'll give me 50 milligrams of Dilaudid and like 2.5 of Dilaudid and 50 milligrams of Benadryl, and I'll still be wide awake because I'm in so much pain. It's like my body's literally on fire, and I can't do nothing about it.
Wow. So, mentally, we have to talk about that mentally, emotionally, like, because it's something to just endure physical pain. Like, but, you know, and physical pain, and a lot of times you just deal with physical pain maybe one time. There's a shock, there's a thing that happens, somebody broke their leg or whatever, and you have it for that moment, but this is your whole life.
Yeah, depression is very common in people with sickle cell just because it can affect you day to day. And like you said, when you're growing up with it, and for me, it was definitely one of those things that I didn't feel comfortable sharing that I had, because you're teased. It's like, oh, you got that thing, or people act like it's contagious. Just
sexual
living in the hood,
disease.
you know, like just not, it's just, you know, so, and because, you know, me being very goal oriented and, you know, about my books and just wanting to be the best. And sometimes it has nothing to do with you. It's just the fact that today I don't have enough energy. I'm tired. I need to rest, or I'm in pain, and I have to put all these things aside. So now I'm depressed because I feel like I done slacked on all this stuff I needed to get done. Yeah. And then it's just like a downward spiral. So it definitely, for me, it's about keeping people around you that understand it and, you know, continuously encourage you. But I mean, it definitely
you have to have a strong circle.
Yeah,
because I'm not even gonna flex. And like, when I'm in pain, I don't even want nobody to talk to me. Like, I'll just be like, because I'm gonna be mad. Like I told you, like just leave me alone, let me deal with this. Because sometimes, you know, even when relationships and everything, it's like, you're not going through this. You trying to tell me how to deal with this pain. You don't know what type of pain this is. Yeah. So it's like the people around you, they got to be strong. Like, you know, you apologize. I apologize and be like, yo, I'm sorry. I didn't really mean it. Just like, I'm really in pain right now, and everything irritates me. Everything. Yeah. Especially when I got to be laying up in this bed and I can't go out and audition. Yeah. I can't go to the gym. I can't have fun like regular people. Yeah. I feel like I'm suffocating. Yeah. And like depression is real. Like, that's why I say we deal with mental, physical, and emotional. Like, we deal with all type of them pains, and then we still got to go out in the world and deal with stuff that regular people
and pay bills and those types of work. So in that situation, like, are you actually able to, like, how often are you going through a pain crisis first? Like, how often does something like that actually happen?
Well,
I was saying, it affects everyone differently.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I mean, yeah, you go ahead.
So for me, I go like, I say growing up, I'll be like in the hospital like 5, 6, 7 months. Like every month I would probably be in the hospital.
Wow.
But the worst part be like in the wintertime when it hits from summer to fall, because the temperature change and it shocks my body. But like since I've been in California, I've been in the hospital every year of my life, basically. Like the doctors know me so much, like it's like I work there. Like, oh hey Nick, you back? Yeah, I'm back.
Wow.
Like
But at least they know that you're
now
real.
now they know,
and you're
but
honest.
it be new doctors that still
That
be
don't-
like,
yeah.
and I be like, oh, he must be new, cause y'all need to tell him I'm not the one to play with when I'm in pain. Like, don't play with me when I'm in pain, cause it's usually doctors that never came across it.
Yeah.
You know.
So
And
they're
just,
not really
educated on it.
about
They educated
sickle
on other-
cell
yeah.
disease.
Right.
So how many times a year would you say you might be in the hospital with the pain?
On an average, just
or is it per month, or is it like a per year?
it depends. Like she said, it affects everybody different. Like you see her eyes, you see the, you know what I'm saying? That's a part of sickle cell, because she got her taken out. Her spleen and gallbladder.
And I never
taken
got
out.
it taken out. Actually, yeah, I did get my gallbladder taken out.
Oh, the
but I
gallbladder,
never,
your gallbladder.
But yeah, my spleen just shrank. But yeah, it's was jaundice. You know, some baby. A lot of the times you're able to get rid of jaundice when you're a baby. You put them under the special lights.
Yeah.
But it is very common for people living with sickle cell, and that was something that I was really insecure about growing up. Like, why your eyes like that? You smoke weed, blah. Like, why are you green? I'm just like, oh, I don't want to. But it's just, it's the breakdown, because I guess like the average lifespan of red blood cells is probably what, like, they break down maybe once every 30 days or something like that. And for people living with sickle cell, it's half of the time.
Yeah, half.
So because of that, you're constantly, what causes the color and what causes the jaundice is an increase in bilirubin. And that's really just your red blood cells just kind of breaking down. And that's, I guess, bile, for lack of better words. That's what it kind of turns into. So for me, I was trying to go back to your original question, how it affects me. It was just very different. I mean,
so you might be in the hospital. How often would you say?
Since I've moved here, like you, not as often. When I was back home in Chicago, where it's very cold, I was probably in the hospital a few times a year. More often in the winter time, because I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to be like my friends, and I wanted to be cute and have on a little belly top or a short dress. We going out to the club, and it's like, Daarina, you need on a snowsuit, boots,
right?
And I'm like, that's
like,
not
cover
cute,
up, girl.
But I'm the one that's like calling my friends or 4 a.m. like, I'm in pain, take me to the ER. So it's very severe. But now I would say I really don't get pain that often. And if I do, I'm able to control it at home. But I'm probably in the hospital once every few years or something like that, if that. But again, it affects people just differently. And it's really, people with sickle cell, it's really about listening to your body. That's what they encourage us to do. So what may work for me may not necessarily work for the next person. I personally had to I became vegan because I noticed an increase in pain whenever I ate red meat, and then just living without a gallbladder, eating fatty foods, that would trigger pain. Now I'm having a crisis. So, and then just not being stressed and meditating and lifestyle changes for me. So that's why I don't really have it as often. I'm smiling
because I'm just so happy that somebody else go through what I go.
A fellow warrior
that knows. It's so, I appreciate it so much that somebody else knows what I'm going through, and I don't have to explain it.
Yeah.
I don't have to like, oh, like because some people brush it off. Oh, you alright? Like,
I was gonna say that I've had friends definitely like, oh, do you feel like you've used your sickle cell to just get attention? And I'm like,
are you serious?
Yeah, really?
What? Like, why would somebody do that? Like, because the only person I'd ever heard of that had sickle cell, like, on a major level, like, celebrity-wise, was T-Boz, and she was open, and she talked about it, and, you know, she wrote a book about her experience and things like that. So that's, like, I heard about that. But is it that just, do people just think that it's an easy thing and they're just talking and you just feel like I don't understand, because if they see you going into the hospital, they see you having surgeries and brain aneurysms,
just
and
uneducated. And I think because you can't relate to the level of pain that we experience, you can't really describe. You can try to describe it, but you can't. Like, the closest thing I tell people, I'm like, look, you know, older people who experience what is it when you get pain in your joints when you're
arthritis?
Yeah, like arthritis. It's like that. I would assume to maybe the 20th power.
So it's like, think of your worst pain you ever been in.
Yeah,
100,000 times worse. That's what it really is. Like, I'm not trying to big up sickles, but that's really what it is. It's like 100 times, and then you gotta keep your cool, because if your blood pressure rises too hard, I done busted blood vessels in my eyes. Like, I done been on so much pain medicine that I'm constipated. I haven't used the restroom. I have to go, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's tough, and like she said, people around you, like if you ain't around me, motivate me, or if I can't learn from you, you can't be around with me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not finna fuss, and I'm not finna argue with you.
Yeah.
Like that's why when you see me, I got the most energy in the room, because I know how it feels to be suffering in pain. Yeah. So I never know what nobody going through. So I approach everybody I see with just like a smile and happiness. Yeah. Because this pain that I did, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Like, that's why I don't want to have kids, because I couldn't bring somebody in this world and knowing that I know that she has the trait and I have the disease. And we have a child together, knowing that I'm bringing torture. It's actually, you getting tortured all your life.
And even as a woman, just childbirth is something you have to think about, because I know for me, I was told if I ever decided to have kids, it's going to just automatically be high risk, because, you know, think about the amount of pain that comes with child labor, and then
it triggers a pain crisis for you because your body's going
Wow. So it's a lot you have to think about, but I mean, it's unfortunate. And, you know, I even know friends that are even afraid to take pain medications or ask for it, because the fear of people just think that I just want this medicine, and they will just sit there and suffer silently in pain. Wow. So
yeah. So I used to be like that. I was like, you know what? No. Like, listen, doc, like, I'm not, like, I understand that you're a doctor and all that. I understand you went to school and you educated, you know all this. But my body, I know my body more than anybody else. Yeah. Like, I don't care what, like they came out with I heard they came out with a cure. Like, it's hopefully a cure going to be coming out. One person will cure it. But I said, if it don't advance me the way that I am now, like, if something else go wrong, because it's like a 50% chance I think you won't make it, or, you know, because it's in test trials. Okay. So I'm not trying to take them chances. Yeah. But even though I'm dealing with this pain, I'd rather deal with this than, because I live a good life. Like, if I wake up in the morning, I'm in pain, like, my pain level might be like a 6 on a daily basis. It's like a 6 is nothing to me. That's just like, I'm normal. I feel like I'm normal if it's a 6, because my pain tolerance is like, if the pain scale is a 10, my pain be a 6, but that's like somebody pinching me. Okay. Like, pinching me like every 20 minutes or something. And so when I'm in the gym, people see me and they assume that, like, oh, it's nothing wrong with me, because, you know, he got big shoulders, he a muscle head or whatever. But I be in there dying. But it's just like, it takes me more effort. It's just like the way I built myself I built myself to be relentless. I built myself to never give up. If I'm going to go out tomorrow, I'm going to go out my way. Because I dealt with too many pain not to enjoy just one life that I got. So you going to have to, nobody can tell me, like, oh, you're not good. I don't want to hear that. Like, even when I moved out here, like, about acting, my mom didn't want me to move out here because she was scared that, who's going to take care of you? I said, I've been dealing with this all my life. Like,
and somebody's going to come around and.
Like, even, like, I remember my first episode out here. You know, I'm country, excuse me. I didn't know how to ride the bus. I didn't know, like, my phone had died, and I was just in bad pain. But I saw somebody told me, I was walking down the street and somebody told me, like, it's a hospital up the street. It's like a mile away. I was having a pain crisis. I walked all the way to the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah. That's real.
It wasn't no taxis around. It wasn't Uber. It wasn't none of that. I walked a mile to the hospital. And and as soon as I got there, she was like, come in, like, what's wrong? I said, I got sickle cell anemia. And she took me to the back, gave me my medicine, admitted me. And it was, ever since then, I could always go to that hospital. But the people that, like, when they move around in the hospital, you know, certain doctors travel.
Yeah.
So it's like, now it's like, I still sometimes have to find people that understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because now that the hospital I usually go to, it's not the same people there.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a couple of doctors that see me and be like, oh, why don't you go to pain management? I said, all they going to do is give me pills.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Them pills don't work.
Yeah.
I can eat them pills like Skittles, and I'll still be awake. I can still go to a job. I still can drive. I still can work a full 8 hours because it don't affect
It doesn't
me.
affect your body.
But think of how fortunate you are. We're special cases because I know people who can't work a regular 9 to 5 because they literally live in the hospital. Like, their pain is that severe and organs are that bad. You know, or they can't. And again, that leads back to the depression.
Yeah.
I deal with, teens right now, and some of them, it's a challenge with them going off to college. They're like, do I want to do this? Because there's days that I might have to take off because now I'm in pain. But then not all professors are going to really, excuse my language, give a damn. It's like, you got to still do the work. You're still expected to deliver. And it's just like, all right, now I got to play catch up. Now I'm stressed out. Now I'm about to trigger another pain. And it's like a cycle. So it can definitely affect your day-to-day, just living with it in different ways. But it does cause you to be a little bit more relentless, and you kind of almost build a zero tolerance policy for people and excuses.
Super zero.
So I want to ask, as it pertains, you spoke about it a little bit before when it comes to relationships, and you talked about, the risks for having children. You talked about not really wanting to have children. So as it pertains to relationships, because, at the end of the day, I imagine that we all have a desire to connect. We all have a desire to share our lives with someone. And that's just a part of life.
Mm-hmm.
So how has this disease affected your relationships?
I tell people straight up in the beginning, only because when I was younger, I was dating, I was afraid to do so for fear of they're not going to want to be with me. But it's like, I'd rather find that information out ahead of time versus investing all of my feelings and then they still leave. So and some people don't want to be with someone with sickle cell, and you kind of have to build up this, thing where it's like, all right, that I'm okay with that. That's your decision. Because they don't want their children to possibly, to have traits or anything related to it. And it's just, again, some people not being educated. But at this point, I guess it could be viewed as challenging, but I'm definitely very selective about who I partner with, just because, and if we're being completely honest about everything, just having unprotected sex, affects us differently, because now an STD, where it may affect, a normal person just like, oh, let me go get a pill, blah, 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 I'm good. But a person living with sickle cell, it could lead to all these other complications because you have this virus that can now, like you said, cause a cold, or then now cause you to have a crisis, or now is
killing something else in your body.
Exactly.
Wow.
Affecting other organs. So it's a lot that you have to think about. And sometimes it can be viewed as a lot on your partner because
pain crisis. I have to make sure you're okay.
I'm tired today. I don't feel like cooking, but I'm still hungry. So what's up?
Yeah.
Are you down or not?
Yeah.
Like,
hey, yeah.
And because this is a woman's perspective, and that's why I definitely I like the different perspectives to see how that works. Because especially, a guy might say, but I want my woman to cook for me, and I want it to be like this, and so you might feel like, hey, like you said, I don't have the energy. So what about you?
So for me, I usually do the cooking because
because you from the country.
I'm from the country, so
that's what y'all just born cooking.
Like I'm from the country, so I was like, I learned to cook by myself anyway. But for me, I be straight up. I was like, listen, like I'm gonna be straight real with you. Like I don't want to have kids, and I'm like, I'm not trying to waste none of your time, waste your youth. So I'm telling you, be honest. If that's what you intend to have and that's what you want, then you have to go out there and get that. And I respect it. And I will always have love for you. But I'm not having kids. Like, that's a no for me. Like, whoever I meet or whoever dates me, I tell them straight up, I'm not having kids. Like, that's not, we can adopt. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we can do that. Because if we have kids and my kid get it, and then I have a crisis and my kid have a crisis, that's a lot on you. Mm-hmm. That's a lot on the other person. I'm not just thinking, I'm not going to be selfish and just be like, oh, whatever. Like, I think about things like that. Yeah. So I'm not going to have you stressed out. Like, somebody going to have to work, Like, because sometimes you can be down for like 5 days and then it's take a week for you to recover again. Mm-hmm. Like, just to get your strength back. Because I remember I had tried to go to work too soon and almost passed out. Like, wow. Like, I was so weak. So any relationship I've been in, like, with all my exes, it didn't end on bad terms. It's just me realizing, like, I don't want to waste your youth, and I know that you want to have a family. Mm-hmm. And it's just a life I chose. I mean, it's a life I chose just because I respect the people that y'all cared for me. So I want you to have the best life you can have too. Like, like I can take that. Like I'm fine with being by myself. Like I've been, because with this disease, it was me. Though I was the only one in my family that had it. So it's like it isolated me already. Yeah. So I'm always happy. Like I'm happy by myself, but with company, that just make it more fun. More fun.
But you also need the kind of company that you feel like can be supportive and is not going to take away from what you've created for yourself.
Yeah. And it's just like, for me, like, you got to realize, like, I'm always a respectful person, so I'm not gonna waste nobody's time. Yeah. I'm not gonna listen. I'm not gonna be out here playing the games because I don't want nothing. I already got sickle cell. I don't need nothing else. Like, that's I don't try me like that, because, like, no. Yeah. I'm good. Like, and people see me and be thinking like, oh, he a player or whatever, because I'm kind of light skinned or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? They be like, oh, I bet you got nah, I don't. Yeah. Like, I got friends that I like, just homies, like, that I just talk to. I don't, like, everybody that's my friend, I don't talk to like that. It's just like, I just like being around y'all energy. Y'all energy it gives me more energy to do what I want to do. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It makes me more positive when I wake up. Mm-hmm. Like, when I wake up every morning, I look at myself like, oh, it's a good day. We ain't in the hospital.
Mm. It's so, and I knew I was going to learn a lot in talking with you all. Like, but what I'm hearing and what I'm gathering right now is something I feel like is incredibly important for people, period, whether you have sickle cell disease or not, is this level of having a simple life and being in a space of gratitude just for being. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Like, so many times we get caught up in, oh, I don't have the car that I want. I don't have I want those shoes or that outfit, or I want this man, that woman, that whatever, and we're caught up in these things that really aren't, at the end of the day, they're not doing anything for you. It doesn't really matter. But the stuff that matters is like you have your health, you're there, like you have great people in your life, you have good energy around you, and being grateful for that, and just being grateful for a good moment. And sometimes we're so focused on not having stuff that we can't even be grateful for the moments that we do have. Wow.
Yeah.
That's so powerful. So how do you just, like, what has become most important for you in dealing with this disease? Like, what do you feel like are the blessings that this experience has provided for you?
I'm grateful for every day that, like you said, like I'm not in the hospital, I'm not in pain. It really does cause you to look at gratitude differently, at least for me. The whole brain surgery where the meningitis and all of that happened. After that was really a pivotal point in my life, because that was right before I was, getting into my 30s. And I'm just like, what's really real, because I spent 10, 11 years, grinding in the entertainment industry and putting work and my job before my health, putting in 12 to 16 hour days. And I'm like, gotta go hard, gotta do this.
And I just want to say right there, I've known you for maybe at least 10 years. I did not realize that you had sickle cell for the majority of that time, because you are this warrior. I mean, you a Capricorn to the max. Like, get this work done. Let's be excellent. Like,
you go, girl.
I mean, this is just what I've seen in you. And I'm like, you were doing all of this excellent work and in pain at the same time, and having aneurysms and going to the hospital and pain cry. Like, what?
I just be so grateful for life, and just grateful, grateful to be able to be there for other people. That's always been something I really enjoy. I think, I mentioned this, just even being younger, my mom used to always say, she's like, Daarina, you are not Superwoman, but I would put other people before myself, and just being the girl, I wanted to be there for all the girls on the block. Like, what you need, but that was just like, I believed in that, and being there for the culture and being down for the culture. But at a certain point, my mom used to always say, you can't pour from an empty cup. And so it was like, all right. And after that whole, like I said, the pivotal moment that happened, it's like, all right, I have to invest in myself. And that's when I decided, all right, let me change my diet. Let me meditate more. Let me take more vacations, because I realized that was very important for my mental health. With being in this industry, I realized I needed a way to unplug, after a job that may be 6 months, rather than jumping right onto the next show. I'm like, all right, I'm going to Brazil. I'm going to South Africa, because I just need to unplug from everything. And, we put our money towards what we really want to do. And for me, that was important. I'm like, look, I'm going to put some money aside to make sure this trip happens, because that is important to my mental, my spiritual, my emotional health. So I can be there for other people. So I can show up to the job and, give 100% and still be able to invest in myself. So and again, like I said, at this point in my life, I'm just really grateful to be in a position to be able to do that, to give back and be there for my girls, like my mentees that are living with sickle cell, and being able to show up for them, because like you mentioned before, it's hard when you're around people who just don't understand. but you have to be able to take care of yourself first to be able to do any of those things. My name means a strong foundation. So it's like, I have to be that, I have to invest in myself and pour in myself in order to be that strong foundation first for others.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
I just want to hug you. Man.
Yes. We go get to all of that. Yes, hugs, please.
Hug you.
That's so important. I mean, that is applicable to everyone. You have to take care of yourself. You have to nurture yourself. In order for you to be a blessing to anybody outside of you, you got to be loving on you. It's incredibly important.
That's the hardest lesson I had to learn, too, because you can ask anybody that ever been friends with me. They know I'll go to war for them. Mm-hmm. Like, they know, like, if they need me, I'm there. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the biggest lesson I really had to learn is because I always would, like, even when I was younger, I always would help everybody. Mm-hmm. But when I'm in the hospital, only a couple of people will come see me. Like, even, like, football coaches, they'll call me, like, oh, yeah, like, we just want you to be the manager because we don't want to take the risk of you, dying on the field. And, like I said, it was, like, 4 people in my town that had sickle cell anemia.
Wow.
2 of them died.
Wow.
So it's like, and they was playing sports, like.
And where are you from?
I'm from Alabama, Reynolds, Alabama.
Okay.
So it hit me hard. I was like, yo, that's not gonna be me. Like, I'm gonna fight it. So for me, like, I got my passport. I went to Cancun this year.
Nice.
Like, it's my first. Cause I used to hate flying because I'd be in pain automatic. Like, if I'm not drugged up before I get on that plane, because the elevation. Oh. Like that's why I can't go to Colorado or Denver or none of that. Because
I almost died on the mountain.
Yeah.
Wow.
You automatically, because the elevation
level is so high.
And
Didn't
oxygen.
even know.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I always try to stay away from them type of places. Yeah. But I'm not going to let that stop me from traveling. Yeah. Like, 'cause being on a plane for like 16 hours for a sickle cell person, that just like you dodging bullets shooting it in front of you. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what you actually doing, not trying to get hit. Or it's a fire and you dancing around it. Wow. Like, that's like 16 hours for a person with sickle cell anemia or sickle cell disease. It's horrible because you, like, 16-hour flight, you in the air for like that long. If you don't have pain medicine, it's like,
you never know.
It's unpredictable. We almost had to do an emergency stop one time with me on the plane because it can just come out of nowhere. And I'm like, no, I'm going to just stick it out. And I was just coming from, I think, LA to Chicago. And they were like, are you sure? And they had the oxygen tank on the plane. Yeah. But, yeah.
It's still horrible. Like, because for me, and just my career, like, I don't even let, like, I'm an actor, so we get rejected a lot. So I don't let that faze me. Like, it phases other actors. That don't faze me. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'll come back for the next one. You know what I deal with on a daily basis. You think that hurts my feelings? Like, no, it does not hurt my feelings. I'm just happy I get to come here and do what I love doing. I'm just happy to be able to audition. Thank you for the opportunity. And like, people see that and they be like, oh,
they think you're faking it.
Yeah, they think I'm faking it, but it's like,
you're just grateful for life.
Yeah,
you grateful.
I live
to
life.
Be here.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I live life. Like,
it causes you to. You're like, look, if you only knew my story, but I ain't got the time to sit here and explain it all to you. So I'm just gonna be happy.
And I know I motivate people. Like, all the friends like that with me, like in the gym. Like, the person that really got me into the gym was he's like a big brother to me. His name was Kenyon Walker. He died the night he died 3 days before I went to the hospital. I when I went to go see him in the hospital that Saturday, his wife texted me. It was like, yeah, he went terminal because he had cancer. And he's like, you need to come up here and see him, because I used to work out with him every single day. Like, I didn't talk to nobody in the gym but him, like, because he was like a big brother to me, like a mentor. He's like, man, because he ain't always had cancer. He just, like, I knew him for like 10 years. So he was always motivating me. And I was like, he's like, I want you to do a show. I was like, man, do you understand that would, like, I had to dehydrate, because when you do a bodybuilding, you dehydrating all the water out your body. You know how much pain I would be in? He's like, little bro, you got it. So when he was training, he had got cancer. He had told me, and he trained for like a fitness bodybuilding show and won 3rd place. He's like, now it's your turn. I had cancer, so you up? I was like, you right.
Wow.
So when I met him that Saturday, I saw him, like the stress of me seeing him. I was madly in pain. I was in a pain crisis. And then, he passed that Monday. And then his wife said she was having a memorial service Thursday. So I was like, I'm not going to go to the hospital until I speak my piece at his memorial service. So I went to his memorial service. I spoke and told him, like, I met all the friends I got now through him, through the gym. But right after I spoke, and I went straight to the hospital. And that's when, like, 2 weeks, like a week after you called me, I had got out. Wow. Like, I held on just because I wanted to speak, to show them, like, how much this man helped me when he didn't have to, Just like he knew he would do research. He would just do research just out of the blue and just send me random facts. I'd just be like, I know this, but thank you. Like he's just like that's the type of person that, it hurt. It hurt me bad. Like, cause I'm usually cause I usually stopped crying when I was like at like the age of 8. Like I was getting stuck with needles at like 5 and not crying. Like everybody else would be crying. I wouldn't even be crying getting stuck by needles. Cause I used to see my mother cry, and like it's like nothing I can do to help her. So I was like, you know what, Nick, you got to be tough for her. So she'll think it's not that bad, and she won't, cry. Cause she was a single mother raising me. So she still had 2 other kids that she had to take care of. She still had to go to work. So I spent a lot of time in the hospital by myself. Like a lot of time in the hospital by myself, because my brothers had to go to school, my mama had to work. I was there by myself as like 6, 7, 8 by myself in the hospital. Wow. So that's why being alone, it's not no big thing to me. Like, but I got so much love to share with everybody. So it's like that's why I'm always like in relationships or anything. I always be truthfully and honest to the person. Like, listen, this is what goes on with me, and like I don't want to steal nobody's shine. Like so. Yeah.
Wow. That's so real though. Just when you mentioned about your mom and having to go to work, and I know for me, and there are a lot of people that are like, yeah, I'm just used to being in the hospital alone. But my mom literally just kind of re-altered her entire life to kind of be there for me. My mom, she was originally in like computer science. This is the 80s, so back when like computer science was like booming. I think she was working for IBM before they were IBM, so she'd probably be a super higher up or whatever by now. And my mom was very much into holistic medicine, so because they wanted to put me on the medications and stuff at a very young age. She's just like, I think she tried it a little bit and she saw how it affected me. And they're like, we're going to find some alternative solutions. And I think my dad just kind of did some research. They did some research. They had a lot of reading, a lot of research. And then eventually my mom, she took a job as a teacher because she's like, okay, at least that way I have the summers off with you. Anytime you're on a break, I'm on a break. I went to the same school that my mom taught at. My mom was my 8th grade teacher eventually. Wow. And, my mom is definitely my rock, and I'm very grateful. I'm grateful for her. But it is one of those things where sometimes, it can affect your family in a way that they never even foresaw themselves. They're like, I had my own hopes and dreams, and
now
I have to change everything. You don't have to, but a good parent is gonna like, let me. And not even a good parent, because some people just don't even have that option or resources. They're like, I just gotta, check to check, and you in the hospital by yourself. And I mean, there are times that my mom, feared losing her job because it wasn't a summer break or winter break and I had to go into the hospital. But she's like, I'm not leaving you in here by yourself for doctors to just come and make decisions without me being there to advocate for you. Having someone being able to advocate for you is so important.
So
I mean... just for me, like I said,
you didn't have that experience. I didn't have that experience
because, like, I had like 2 brothers
and siblings,
and my mom was a single parent. Like, I would get random phone calls with my dad wouldn't even know I was in the hospital. Like,
Yeah.
you know, but I'm over all that. Like, we on a good relationship now because
Yeah.
I don't hold no beef or whatever because that's gonna hinder me in the end. But his side of the family will always call and check up on me. Like, I always be in touch with somebody, but physically there.
But going through
like,
it, you felt like you were kind of
yeah.
in there in the room by yourself.
Like, my brothers would come soon. Like, my younger brother would come as soon as he got out of school. Like just growing up, he'll come and just chill with me. Like, it was one day I was having a real bad. I didn't even know who he was. I was on so much medicine. I was like, who? Like, I didn't even recognize.
Wow. You have sickle cell disease. You are warriors. You've been through surgeries and brain aneurysms and pain crises and all types of different things. You've been through it all. And, you know, I know that a lot of times you just kind of want to be as what you would consider to be as normal as possible and just do stuff that other people do and whatever. So when you have those experiences where you're like, okay, I just want to go. My friends are going on a ski trip to Denver, you know, they're going and, you know, or we're going to go on a 16-hour flight somewhere, you know, I want to go to Ghana or whatnot. I imagine though, like you said, there's some sort of limitations that there may be as it pertains to your disease. How do you come to terms with that? Like maybe you can't do something if you cannot do something.
For me personally, it's the pain outweighs the risk, you know. So and I had to experience it first to realize, like, okay, I just can't do it because I don't want to experience that again. For example, when I did try to do a ski trip to Lake Tahoe with the girls and they found me on the bathroom floor, and it just so happened my mom called and asked where I was because she read an article like, oh yeah, you know, altitude sickness for people with sickle cell is a real thing. So they were just sitting around playing cards, thought I was in the shower, and I was passed out, had to be escorted off of the mountain immediately with oxygen before it went down. And so, you know, after experiencing that, I'm like, I don't ever want to go through that again. So therefore, I've come to terms with that's just not for me. And, you know, same thing with, again, for me, it's nutrition. A lot of doctors will never talk about diet and nutrition as it relates to sickle cell, but I know how it makes me feel when I eat meat, when I eat dairy. I get sick. So, you know, some people are just, and I'm from Chicago, 7 wings and mild sauce. Trust me, that was very hard to give up.
Yeah.
You know, I love it. But, you know, I just, you know, people are like, how do you manage with not eating meat and growing up in a Caribbean household with oxtails and stews and giving, again, you know, basically sacrificing, giving up all of that. But I'm just like, honestly, it has nothing to do with, and shout out to the people who are all about, you know, saving the animals. But for me, it's really just, I don't want to feel the pain. So that's how that's how I cope with not being able to have certain experiences or deal with certain things just because I know I don't want to end up in the hospital.
Like, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
Yeah. I got you.
For me.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm hard headed, you know. That's why I said I had to learn how to swallow my pride. Like, even like when I was in a relationship, it was like in the fall time for Christmas time, like, oh, let's go to London or let's go somewhere cold. I'm like, yo, I can't do that. Like, I can't do that. I don't even go home on Christmas or Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Just because it's so cold. So it's like, I know I'm going to be in the hospital. And I do not want to be in the hospital in Alabama, where I'm from. No. I went home. I was like, yeah, all right, I'm going to be all right. My pride was like, I'm Nick Reynolds. Like, you know, I've been taking care of myself. So I went home one Christmas. As soon as I stepped off that plane, I had to go to the hospital. Wow. And then I went to the hospital. They wasn't even giving me the medicine I needed. Like, it was so off. I was in so much pain. So I learned to swallow my pride. Like, well, even in the gym, like I'm cocky in the gym, like, but I know my pride. Like say the people I work out with, they stronger than me. They be like, oh, you got one. I say, I'm gonna swallow my pride here because I know how that's gonna make my body feel.
Yeah.
Like, cause sickle cell disease and the pain crisis, overexertion can cause a crisis too. Okay. So I go past my limits. I go like, if it's 55 speed limit, I go like 57. I'm not gonna hit that 60. But I go past it and realize like, yo, you live to fight another day out the hospital. Swallow your pride, cause I used to be very prideful. Like I'm sickle cell warrior. Like nothing can stop me. Like that's true, but you got to be smart about it too. Yeah. Like you gotta, you can't be hard headed. You can't be just not knowing. You're knowledgeable. You've been going through this, so it's like cold places I stay away from. Like, and I used to play in the snow when I was a kid. But. Yeah. And I know some places are beautiful in the winter, but that's just a sacrifice. I ain't really like, okay, I watch it on TV. Yeah. Like
you just have to be okay with being okay.
Like, I don't try to I ain't gonna say limitations. I just know better. Like I don't never want to put limits on myself because I feel like I'm unlimited. But I just know like, boundaries. Swallow your boundaries. Yeah. Just swallow your pride, Nick. Like, don't. Is it worth going to the hospital?
Don't step out there if you don't really need to.
It's work. It's easier said than done. Like I said, I like to look cute. I'm like, I want to wear that too. Yeah. I still have my moments, and if I am in the hospital, it's because maybe I was trying to be outside being cute. I remember one of the last times, right before a trip to Germany, got caught outside trying to be cute, and the Santa Ana winds was happening. I didn't have a jacket, and I felt it coming, and I didn't have my medication, didn't have like my prescription medication. I was like, yeah, I'm about to be in the hospital. And a few hours later, that pain just started coming. It was intense out of nowhere. I was right there in the hospital.
I also have done that before. Like, because when somebody said, oh, you can't do it, I'm like, oh, really? I'll do it. Then I'm like, yeah. Then they'll be like, oh, how you doing? Oh, yeah, I'm in the hospital, man. Like, but I pay for it.
So in those moments, though, I mean, because in those moments, I know at one point in time you said, well, I'm going to try it anyway.
Yeah.
Then you get to the point, like, you feel like it's easier now for you to say, yeah, I'm going to say no.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say no. Like, is it just easier now?
It's definitely easier, but we're still human at the end of the day.
It's easier because that wisdom come in. Yeah. Like, when you young, you be like, okay. Yeah. But, hey, I'm a little older now, so I'm like, yeah, I'm going to avoid that. Right?
Okay.
Like, it's just like, you like an old person still trying to go out there and play football with the young guys, like they 18 and you out here trying to still hit and you know your 55. Body. Yeah, you no.
It's just easier to say no.
It's easier to say no.
You're like you're not really dealing with peer pressure as well. That was a big factor for me. I'm like,
it's not people around you be like, oh, we doing this, but you can't. You know what I'm saying?
Right, you left out.
Just,
now
it's your
pride.
Pride.
I don't care what y'all. I'm at home.
I'm in the bed laying down watching TV.
Right.
Like that's I don't drink or nothing. Like my friends always be like, oh, let's drink. I was like, oh no, nah, because I know how that's gonna make me feel. Like I know I'm gonna have a crisis.
Well, first of all, I just want to say that this is something that probably the people listening are like, you know what? I need to have that level of discipline myself because so many times we're thinking about like when you're tempted with something, it's probably something that most people shouldn't do half the time. You know, obviously people can travel and go to cold climates if they want to, but a lot of times in our own lives, in so many ways, we know we shouldn't do a thing. Like for me, I'm just be straight up. I know that I need to go to bed. I should go to bed, but I fight my sleep like I'm a little 5-year-old child. It is ridiculous. It's like, Audra, you are falling asleep on the couch. Like, your whole body already said like an hour ago that you were sleepy. Why don't you just go lay in the bed? And I'm like, no, I want to be up. And then the whole next day is like I'm grumpy or I'm having to really pull myself together. So I think this is applicable to so many people. It's just like, know thyself and obey what you know to do for thyself.
It's basically the human experience.
Yeah.
It's just like when you a kid, they be like, don't touch that. I'm going
to
to touch
go over there and touch it.
I'm going to
Like,
touch
you
it. You should have told me don't touch it.
Yeah.
And you have to find out, like, you got to find out that, a stove is hot. Like,
Exactly.
So it's like, you got to find it out. Like,
You're right. The concept of having hidden scars, because I know for me, technically, I can hide mine. Like, I can wear a turtleneck or a crew neck shirt, something that, has some sleeves on there, and you would never know that I've been burned. You would never know anything, unless you saw my neck or something like that. You wouldn't really know. So, but I choose to wear clothes that, reveals my scars. Because I'm at that place now, I feel comfortable with my scars. So as it pertains to having sickle cell disease, would you want people to know? Does it matter if someone knows, that you have that? If you, maybe it's an acquaintance, not really a friend necessarily, or if you go into work, do you mind if they know, that kind of a thing?
Well, for me as an actor, I don't like nobody to know. Well, as if I'm getting casted, because they view me as a sick person, and they're not going to take that chance on me.
Yeah.
So, but me, I don't really care about, like, normal people. I'll tell them, like, yeah, I got this, because as soon as somebody start complaining about, oh, this and that, oh, it's too much, I was like, what? It's too much? No, it's not too much. We can, you're okay. You're okay. Like, we can work through this. We can fight it. But as a career-wise, they look at me as the sick person. Like, we can't invest in him.
Got you.
So it's like, I wouldn't, like, because you'll never know I'm in pain. Like, never. Like, I wouldn't even know I was in pain today if I didn't tell you. You'll never, because I'm always going to be the same energy type of guy anywhere I go. Unless I just got out the hospital, then,
Then you need your moment.
Yeah, I need my strength to get my strength up. But if if I'm in the pain of 8, you'll never know. You'll never know, because the way I look, the way I take care of my body, the way I approach life, you'll never know. But, like, everyday people, I'm prideful. I'm happy. Like, I wear it as a badge of honor. So it's like, as a kid, I didn't do that, Like she was saying, like, as a kid, you didn't want to be like, oh, he got this disease and he got this, he gonna die. You know what I'm saying? People, kids are cruel. They're cruel. But as me, I wear it as a badge of honor now. So it's like, I just don't. The industry probably, like, they don't want to take that investment. Like, they think something's. But I'm healthier than most people. It's just I go through pain. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm healthier than most people. Like, just I have to deal with pain. That's something I can't.
You can't help that.
Can't help.
Yeah.
But you'll never, like, even if I get booked, like, say I get booked as a season regular, and I'm having it, like, I will always show up on set. You'll never know I'm going through something. And that's not even without taking no medicine, because I know how to endure. Like, I endure this pain for a lot. Like, it takes a lot for me to go to the hospital. Like, my biggest lesson is that I need to learn is, like, my boundaries. Like we were just talking about is, like, go to the hospital sooner. Because me, I'll wait till, like, 6 days strong. I've been hurting. I'm like, okay, now I'll go. Yeah, and then I make sure I get everything I want to do out the way. Yeah. And I'm off, and I don't got no auditions coming up. And then I go. But that's, like, regular everyday people, I wear it as a badge of honor. Like I just got promoted. Like, gotcha. This is the greatest gift I had. Because it's a gift to me. Like, I used to think it was a curse, but it's really a gift of how my mindset is. So I embrace it. I don't know how.
Yeah, I definitely it took a moment for me to get there as well. I definitely wasn't open about it. I didn't like sharing it. You would never know unless I got sick and you were a close friend. But Now I'm a little bit more open about it because I do feel it's a part of my duty as someone living with it to help educate people about it, just so we can try to, reduce the amount of discrimination that is faced. But, when I first walk into the room, I'm just meeting people, probably not, just because I've always been a person to want things to happen organically. And also, I feel like some people, they don't really know what to do with that information. They'll look at you as, like you said, handicapped, or just all the, and everyone doesn't have your best interest at heart. So I'm very, very specific in terms of, not only protecting my energy, but in terms of, sharing the amount of information that people have on me. So I don't know if that's just me being private, but I think all of that is a part of protecting your energy. And you've learned with living with sickle cell, that is something that you really have to do, because and everyone isn't, their intentions aren't good. Some people will take information and use it against you later. So I have no problem. I've had to tell people at work, because if I had an episode, obviously I have to go to the hospital and I have to tell them why. But at the end of the day, I want you to look at me just like Bob sitting next to me, who's doing the same job, and that we're equals. So I don't want you to automatically, we come into this job or we come into this room, you've already put me down here because of something because I told you that I live with sickle cell disease. And, I don't put the blame on them, because again, it's just lack of information. People are just miseducated about it. But I would say that it's not the first thing I'm going to talk about. But if I feel you, if I'm rocking with your energy, I'm like, oh, she seems cool, and it happens to come up, and I'm very vocal about my life story now and the things that I've experienced and gone through, and in conversation it will come up, but not right off the bat.
Gotcha. Like for me, it's more like in fitness, I don't mind sharing it, because I show people. Like I go to the gym every single day. Like every day I don't have to work, I'm in the gym. So like even on my Instagram, I'm the sickle cell warrior. Like that's like for my, like, 'cause it's for fitness related stuff. Like, but like I'm not gonna go and be like, oh yeah, I got sickle cell, 'cause people just try to feel sorry and try to treat you like you sick. And like, no, I don't need your envy. I don't need your sympathy. I'm good over here. So I agree with her. Like, it's just certain situations I don't mind, but the situations like that, like she's talking about, I won't say nothing. But if it's like a situation that you feel
like it could be beneficial,
to somebody that needs inspiring, then I'll like, and you got to be cool with me. Like, I'm not finna just tell
tell your whole life story to a stranger.
But some people really get upset that you don't. Why didn't you tell? I've had a professor get upset because I didn't tell him at the beginning of the semester that I had this thing, because I ended up getting sick in the middle of the semester. I made up everything and made up all of my work, still passed with a good grade, but he felt some type of way that I guess he wasn't notified. And I'm just like, is that legal?
What?
But
for me, one of my professors he passed with sickle cell. Oh, so wow. His class I missed a lot. But he said, why you be missing? I told him because I knew he had it. So he's like, oh, okay, don't worry. Like, we'll help you get caught up on your work. Like, some days I'll text him like, yo, can you just send me my assignment? Like, when I was in college, like, can you just send me my assignment? 'Cause I'm not gonna make it to class. Sometimes it's beneficial if you know somebody with it that got it and that they in a position like they teaching or like a professor, like. But if you don't know the professor has it or nothing, like, I'm not finna come out and tell you like, oh, I don't want you to treat me more different than anybody else. I'm going to come in here.
So the idea is you just don't want people walking around, acting, being different. I think that's the same with anything, with anyone, no matter what the situation is that you still want people to see you as the person that you are. and not necessarily a disease or a something else, or, you know, it's like, I'm me. How are you doing?
Right.
But the idea is that if you do need assistance, you do need some more time with regard to an assignment or something like that. You do have a limitation and you won't be able to do something. You can then feel like, hey, I just want to let you know this is a situation, or I won't be able to do this or whatnot. You're cool. As long as it's that kind of a thing, but not like, oh, I just going to tell you so that you can then pity me, so to speak.
Right. Yeah. Treat me like I'm handicapped.
Yeah, because it's just like people who go, when you go to college, they have a disability thing, you know, like that can help you. But some of the professors don't like, it's like it's too much. Like with somebody with autism, like they need extra, you know, care. And some teachers don't want to go through all that, you know. So people with autism feel like they don't need to tell them that they got autism, you know. Like I just saw a short film about it, like kids going to school and not just working, like just doing their work and not telling them about it. And that's how I was. I didn't tell nobody I had sickle cell until I met Dominique, like she was on the bowling team of my college, and we connected like that. But yeah, you don't want nobody looking at you and be like, oh, you know, feelings, you know, just I don't like that, like, cause me, I'm stronger than you anyway, so it's like, don't look at me like that, like,
I hear you.
It's a pride thing with me, like, don't look at me like that. Just like I don't need your favors. Like I'm good. Like don't feel sorry for me. Cause people try to treat you different, and then when you turn your back, they talking about you in another way. Like he just got that cause he got this and that. No, I worked hard for everything I done ever got. Yeah. Like my sickle cell didn't give me no type of advantage. The only advantage it gave me was me being relentless. That's the only advantage it gave me. Yeah. But everything else, I had to work 10, 20 times harder. Yeah, for me, like, I got it, like, she said she want to marry me. She's like, you my husband. Like, her name Dominique Elston. She's like, how we met in school, you know, whatever. And she got sickle cell anemia, too. Like, we always been tight. But, you know, she like women. So it's like, but she always like, oh, you going to be my husband. I'm like, because we always been tight together. Yeah. Like, every time I'm in the hospital, she's there. And I reached out to her, like, just recently. Like, yo, I'm going to try to dedicate and do something that I haven't seen done. I'm going to try to do, like, a bodybuilding show. And I was going to reach out to the Sickle Cell Foundation and just to get more information. Because I just want to inspire other people. Just like, you don't have to be in the dark, you know. It's a light. You just got to find something you love and focus on that, because that would help you get through some of the situation, some of the pain. Like having, like, putting your mind to something other than just feeling pain, it helps some. But getting your mindset, because your mental, you're focused on your mind can make you do stuff like when if you see somebody, a kid, a car is on top of a kid, like people can lift a car. You've seen, like, there are stories that mothers have lifted cars off of their children. That's their kids. So it's like, if you find something that you take your mind into another place while you in pain. Like she said, meditation and all that, like, that's good. Like, you got to find something that helps you, because it's a journey. It's like really like a journey. Like, you're going to go through this. Like, if I probably wouldn't have sickle cell, I probably wouldn't even be here. I probably wouldn't even be in California. Yeah. You know, I probably be playing sports somewhere. Like, that's what it changed. Like, because I thought I was going to be a baseball player, but I was so sick all the time with trials. When I was in the hospital, I had to quit all that. Like, that crushed me as a kid. Like, my little brother out here showing out, doing it, like, and I can't even play. Yeah. Like, you know how that in the country, like where I'm from, a small town where it's like 400 students in the whole high school, and it's nothing to do. Like, it's no acting, there's no activity, there's nothing to do but play sports. Yeah. It's like, that hurts. Like, that hurt me. So I was like, yo, I got to get out of here. So it opened you up. It opened me up to other everything. Parts of yourself that you can then discover. Yeah. And move forward in that area. So I know that you, Daarina, you share about having a mentee and working with young girls who have sickle cell disease. How has that impacted your life?
So community is definitely very important now for me. I won't even lie, I wasn't that person before. I definitely kind of turned my nose up at it. Back home in Chicago, I remember being in high school and I met someone who had sickle cell. He was telling me about, there's this camp, and I'm like, sickle cell camp? Like, what? We about to just be, at a round table, like, hi, my name's Daarina, I have sickle cell. I was like, that's not really my vibe. Like, I'm good. And I didn't want to be a part of it because I didn't want to feel like I was different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of associated it as something negative. It had this like not negative connotation with me. And it wasn't until I moved out here that I started reading about the Sickle Cell Disease Foundation of California, and I saw that they had these different programs that they offered, and I had been trying to be a part of their programs for a while. They offered this camp, and I was like, I want to be a camp counselor, and they were looking for people who had sickle cell, and I was trying to be a part of this organization since I first moved out here over 11 years ago. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until last year I was like, I hadn't looked on the site in a while, and I saw that they had implemented this new program called the SC Crew. And basically, it was a program that they started for teens that were transitioning into adults. And they were looking for mentors. And shout out to Portia Reagan at the Sickle Cell Disease Foundation of California. But she's so dope for creating this, because they found that, and forgive me if I'm wrong with the numbers, but I believe the highest mortality rate for people with sickle cells between the ages of like 17 to 22 or 25 or something like that. But obviously that comes with, you're now no longer under your parents' care and just like transitioning from pediatrics into, adult providers, or you're going off to school and you're like, I want to be grown, I want to drink, I want to do all these things. And so they created this program to kind of help educate the teens not only on their disease, but how to go out into the world now as an adult living with the disease and learn how to advocate for yourself. So I applied to be I cried at my interview. One of the guys, he was like, are you okay? And I was like, I just really want to be a part. This is, I want to be a part of this. It sounds so dope. And since I've joined it, because I went into it thinking like, oh, I'm about to be here for others, and really I've gotten so much from it because of the other mentors that I've built a relationship with. And some of them are literally like my sisters now, because you realize we talk very candidly about just like personal issues that we have with relationships, and like we said, the mental health that comes with it. And you're just like, wow, you deal with the same thing too. Oh my God, my sister, where have you been my entire life? And I'm like, think like, I thought, I had these negative thoughts about something like this. And it's just like, it's been so important. It's been a very important thing in my life. And just, again, with being there for the girls, and it's for all teens, so guys and girls, and we have these breakout sessions, and we, talk about different things, and just, life in general, because at the end of the day, they're still teens. They still want to turn up. They still want to let's talk about Cardi B, so, but it's just dope to be able to have a sense of community, because it's people who understand what you're living with, and you don't have to explain anything. And just right now I have a mentee who's in the hospital right now, and just being able to let her, because she's getting her gallbladder removed. And so obviously,
you were just there this morning.
I got home at like 3 a.m. because I was at the hospital with her, because I didn't want to leave her by herself to just be in her head or deal with her pain. She was coloring. We were talking. We went to a meditation room and talked for hours, and just, just someone to keep you company. But at the same time, when you're dealing with that, no one can really explain to you, you know, what's going to happen afterwards. Like they can, but you're like, you're just talking as a doctor. You're just talking as someone who doesn't really know.
Yeah.
So I felt very happy to be able to show her my scars. I was like, look, I had the same thing. You still can, you know, when you're done with this, you're still going to be able to wear your swimsuit and be fly, and you're going to feel better afterwards. And, you know, because it is scary when you're going into surgery and you never had it before. So I'm just really happy that I'm able to offer life experience as well for some of these kids. But I get so much not only from the kids, because they're so dope. They're all doing amazing things because, like you said, you're living with the disease, so it kind of pushes you to, I want to be this person. Yeah, strive for greatness. And I'm like, y'all are so dope. But again, just it's literally like a family there. And
I definitely need to be a part of that.
you do. I think you'd be a great mentor.
I am so excited for this connection right now.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, I do.
Because everybody needs to have a sense of community and someone that they can go to and be open and honest. Somebody that actually gets it. Like even before you open your mouth, they're not, because there's a difference between somebody that's trying to understand because they haven't been through it at all. And they're like, really? They can only kind of give you so much compassion and empathy. But when somebody's been there, then like you feel, wow, I'm not alone. And that was one of the things in my life that was pivotal, a pivotal moment when Nick, I don't know if I even shared this with you, but part of my journey was, burned at 1.5 years, 6 surgeries between 2 and 16, and I just didn't look at myself in the mirror until I was 25. And my moment, the pivotal moment, was when because I kept praying, why did this happen? Why did this happen? Why did this happen? That was my thing. And I felt like when I was 25, I had that revelation. I felt like God said to me, well, Audra, everybody has scars. Some on the outside and some on the inside. And it was then that in that moment that I didn't feel alone. And I think it's incredibly important for anyone that is going through something, whether people can see it, whether people can see your scar or not see your scar. Ask yourself the question, okay, what do I need right now? And sometimes what you need is just to be around somebody that gets it and give yourself that gift. Go online, find a support group, find something, find some, just ask. Just when you're in your prayer, you just, okay, God, just bring somebody that gets it. So that I can be honest and open with somebody that I know connects with me and they understand me. And sometimes that is what you need to get to your next moment. Yeah. So yeah.
Like I said before, like me and God went on the same page. I was like, we gonna have some conversations, my brother. Like, yeah. Like I was like, what did I do so bad to deserve this type of pain as a kid? As a kid. Yeah. Like, as a kid. But
think about this. This is something just popped into my head. And there's so many people who have had that same experience. Yeah. Like, they may have been molested. They may have had some sort of other childhood disease. And they feel exactly the same way you do. So please continue. Like, this is not just as it pertains to you. This is so many people.
Yeah, well, I was just saying, like, as a kid. But then as I grew, and just, my relation, I was like, okay, you built me because I'm one of your strongest soldiers. Yes. And you want me to be out here to inspire people. Yes. So I got you, like, high five. Like, we cool. Like, I understand that. As a kid, I didn't understand that. Yeah. But now I understand the journey that you put me on.
When you are in it and you just look around and you're like, why is it so dark? Why is it so hard? Why do I have to have this experience? That's not fair. These other people don't have that. Why do I have to deal with this? That you can't stop walking when you're in that space. That's what I learned. You can't stay in that space. There's something on the other side of that. And I truly believe, because that's what this show really is about, is saying you've been through so much hell. You've been through you've been through these hard times. There's something on the other side of that. Yeah. And it's going to be a blessing. A blessing is in there. Yeah. And it is not only just for somebody else, but it's also for you. Like you were saying, Daarina, you were able to see these young girls and relate to them because you've had experience with it. Does it, and you can say this or not, but in a way, does it make you feel like, wow, I have something powerful to contribute to the world?
Absolutely. It makes you feel special. It's as your motto, you then turn your scar into your superpower, you know? So it's like, all right, that same little girl that always wanted to just put on this superhero cape and be there, you're doing it now. You're doing it. So I definitely get so much happiness and joy with, doesn't feel like a chore, doesn't feel like work. And that's the real work, right? Like, you know, they say it's not work, or you don't consider it work when you do it every day without, so it's just like, and I know I got free. Yeah, when you and I do it for free. And even the foundation itself is in the Inland Empire. And I drive, you know, all the way, like an hour and a half away, you know, on the weekend, like once a month or whenever they have a meetup. But I'm like, that's cool. I want to be there. I want to show up. Yeah. And it fills you up. It fills that cup up again after you've poured. It's like, all right, now I'm full.
Yeah, like I said, like I told you on the phone, your scars are your past, give you strength of your future. Yeah. And it'd be dark. But the brightest stars can't shine if it's not dark, right?
Woo! You done said it. Yes. So
without darkness, there's no light.
Exactly. The contrast. It is.
Like in life, I figured out this a long time. In life, it's gonna be stuff thrown at you. It's just life for everybody. Mm-hmm. No matter what no matter if you're the healthiest person in the world, something's gonna get thrown at you. It's just how resilient you're gonna be. Mm-hmm. Like when sickle cell punch me, I'm punching it back. Like, okay, like you're not gonna stop me from doing what I want to do. You might slow me down. Like, okay, you won round 1, but round 2, I'm gonna win. You know, like I'm relentless. Like nothing, it's not gonna stop me. That's why whenever I see anybody with sickle cell, I tell them that, like, yo, don't let it stop you. Like, it's because at the end of the tunnel, you're going to see that bright light, and it's going to be enjoyable. Like, you realize your journey that God put you on. Yeah. Like, because like I said, I used to think I was cursed. Like, oh, I'm the only one in here that got this. But now I consider it a blessing because I wouldn't be the same type of person I am now. I wouldn't be as motivated, probably. I wouldn't have the most energy. I wouldn't probably even work out. Like, be honest with you, I'll probably just be at home eating donuts, just chill, you know, like a normal, like. But like the therapy it gives me, just the feeling that I get, it's just like me being in front of the camera. Like when I'm on stage or when I book a show, it's just I love doing this. I love being a fighter. I love going after what I love to do, like no matter how much pain I'm in. So that's why I just want to tell like people, young people or anybody, whatever you're going through, everybody have a cloud over them. It ain't gonna rain all the time. Just get you an umbrella, raincoat, you know, go through that storm, because it's gonna be a rainbow at the end. Yeah, it's gonna be a rainbow at the end. Peace and positivity. Now, I don't have time for hatred or none of that. So it's like I use all my energy to fuel me to do what I need to do every day, to just be the person that I am. Like it's people around me that be miserable, but when they around me in the gym, they always want to work out. Like I literally shake like 1,000 hands when I go into the gym, because people be like, "Oh, hey, like that's you, it's you." But some of them don't know I got sickle cell. They just think I'm just a muscle head, because the people I work out with are really like bodybuilders. Like they weigh like they really compete as a pro like that, and I'm hanging with them with this against me, and like I motivate them. I be like, oh, so you say you tired? I said, I know you're not tired, like, cause you know you gotta. I push the people around. I said, no, you're not tired, like, cause I'm still in here and I'm still working. So if I'm still working, you need to be working.
Wow.
And they be like, I appreciate that so much, cause people don't realize what I go through. Like they just be thinking I'm just a person that just always been in shape. No, I lost like 40 pounds. Like I was. Like last year, I was in and out the hospital. I looked bad. Like I didn't even care about the gym. Like I was very depressed. Wow. But my New Year resolution was like, you know, I'm finna change my life. I'm finna go hard. I was like, you've been doing this way too long not to get a grasp of it. So it's time for you to take control of it. Like I wasn't even acting last year.
Yeah.
I was, and that's what I love. That's what I moved out here for.
So you said take control.
Yeah, I take control.
Because that's what people need to hear, is that they have the power to take control of their lives and to do that which they really want and love to do. And that's just important. So Daarina, is there anything that you would want to just say to anybody, just to say whatever they're going through, whether it's sickle cell disease or whether it's something else, whether it's just, you know, maybe not a disease at all, but they just have their moment, they're in a dark space, what would you say?
I would say keep pushing. I would say push the pride aside and don't be afraid to reach out to those who are really there for you. I mean, that's really how you find out who your true friends are anyway. You know, I had moments where I called you at like midnight. I'm like, I'm having a moment.
Yes.
And you're just like, you want to talk right now, you know? So yeah, just surround yourself with positivity, period, you know, and to try to be the person that you would want around you. So if you want to be a positive person, surround yourself with that and take care of yourself and take a moment for self-care. Self-care is very important. But when you're in those dark spaces, just know that it's temporary. Know that, you know, even though you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel at that moment, just, you know, rest assured that the light is there. The light is there. And keep people around you that will constantly remind you of that.
Awesome.
Like, if you ain't throwing gasoline on my fire, I don't want you around me, period. Like, if you not, like, I'm around people, like, I'm going to motivate you. Like, I'm going to inspire. Whatever you need from me, I'm going to give it to you, because that's the type of energy I want you to give to me. Mm-hmm. So I'll tell people, it's like, it can't last forever. It cannot last forever. Take a deep breath. Relax, and just keep going. Like she said, pride is hard. Some people, it's hard to swallow that pride. Mm-hmm. I swallowed mine a long time ago, but I'm just saying, like, you gotta find people that's happy for you just as you happy for them. Like, you want them to be successful just as bad as you want to be successful. It ain't no jealousy or nothing. Like I said, dealing with sickle cell, people think you be faking. Like, you just know. You just want attention. I don't care nothing about attention or none of that. So you got to find a circle that, you know, you can lean on, you can talk to, and they ain't going to go, tell somebody else, like, oh, he's such this and that, and he's like a miserable person. You need people that's actually there for you. Like, they really love you. Like, there's a lot in L.A., there's a lot of fakeness out here. So I learned.
Yes.
It's a lot of, you know. Yeah. So you gotta find a solid foundation. If you find that solid foundation, I promise you, things will get easier. It might get tougher too, but it'll get easier too. Like, you will come out on top. If the mind is the most powerful thing. Yeah. So if you think it, you will it every day. You think it, you say you're gonna do it. You push it, you put it out in the air, you write it down on paper. Like she said, I'm goal oriented too. Like, I told myself, like, I was gonna do everything I'm doing this year, no matter what, no matter if I have a crisis or not. Like, I'm still gonna do it. Like, I ain't gonna let nothing stop me. Like, the only thing that's gonna stop me is the Lord call my number, and I'll be like, okay, well, it's my time. But if it's not my time, then I'm gonna keep going.
Keep going. Yeah.
Like, you gotta.
People are gonna be there when you're at your worst.
Yeah.
Just as much as they're there to celebrate at
Yeah.
your best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the type of friends you need around you. It's like I turn my friends into family. Like, it's really like I came out here not knowing anybody.
Yeah.
And I just built a family, like a whole foundation. Like a whole, like, people that when I'm in the hospital, they bring me all types of snacks, because that's, like, when I'm in the hospital, all I want to do is eat bad, because that's the only thing sometimes to make me feel better.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it makes you happy because this tastes good.
Yeah.
I need something,
Yeah.
because this medicine is not working.
Hold on to.
Because this medicine is not working.
Yeah.
So you need people like that.
Yeah.
And just, and I'm thankful. I'm very thankful. I'm very grateful of just being able to breathe when I go outside and like, oh, it's going to be okay day. I'm in pain, but it's going to be a good day.
So the mindset.
It's your mindset.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard to get there, because you got to go to trial through tribulations to get there. Like, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not nothing that's going to happen overnight. Like, because I dealt with this for years. Like, my mom, I can't talk to my mom. I didn't talk to my mom about being depressed or, you know what I'm saying? She wouldn't understand it. Like, she.
Yeah. So I think we pretty much just like said it. It's the mindset. It's who you surround yourself by. And it's not stopping when you're in that dark place. It's moving and continuing to walk until you get out of the dark space. And there's light out there. So, yeah. Awesome. So what I would like is I want to know what is coming up for you. We already kind of talked about what's next for you, Nick. Like, you were talking about your competition.
Yeah, January 25th. It's called Fit Expo. So I'm entering. I'm gonna enter the contest. It's like a bodybuilding competition for physique, like swim trunks, and you just show out your physique.
So you're gonna have the guns out. Gun show.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do it. Like, the diet is hard. I be wanting to cheat all the time, but I feel like I'm strong enough to do it. And it just, like, it makes me feel good when I'm in there. Just like somebody healthier than me, like, yeah, you got an advantage, but I'm still killing it. Like, it makes it, like, it boosts my my morale. So it's like, and the people that I got in my group, if you see them, I'm like the smallest one. Like, everybody else is huge. Like,
I think I did see some pictures on Facebook. I'm
all
like,
of them,
good gracious.
All of them is huge and cut up.
Wow.
So, and I'm only doing it just because I'm gonna honor my Kenyon and win it for him. Because I promised him I was gonna do a show. That's
like your mentor.
Yeah, my mentor. He's like my big. Because I ain't had no heroes growing up.
Yeah.
I met my hero at like 20 something, like 20, 22, 23. Like, even actors that I like, they wasn't my heroes because I couldn't talk to them.
Yeah.
Like, I could talk to him. So he was like a hero to me. So I know he up there, over me, giving me extra power. He probably telling God, you got one more set on the curls, like, that's the type of trainer he was.
Wow.
Like, he gave me that energy. So I'm gonna make sure his legacy, I'm gonna make him proud. His family too. I talked to his mom. I talked to his wife. Like, I still stay in touch. Like, they call me like second son. Like, that's how he affected me. And now I just want to pass on the positive, because he was loved by everybody. Like, he was like the mayor of the gym. Like, like, everybody loved him. So I just want to be like that to other people that going through struggles and just trying to help them. Like, just trying to, show, like, when you down and when they count you down and out, you can still come back fight.
Awesome.
Like, I'm just trying to inspire. Just inspire and just live life. Travel the world and have fun.
There you go.
See different cultures, like, I used to be scared to do that, but now I'm fearless now. So
there you go. I love it.
Gotta be fearless.
You got to. Daarina, I know one thing is your amazing digital series. I mean, I don't know if that's I know that you have a lot of other things,
No,
other projects
go
you're
ahead,
working
talk.
on. No, I want you to tell people about it. It's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, so I have a digital series. We finally completed the first season. Woo!
Okay.
Chronicles of a Dark Child in Hollywood, and it's a series that basically it's true stories told by people of color, and they're just telling stories about times that they face some type of, like racial adversity or these awkward situations, maybe in the workplace or in the entertainment field or environment. And basically the backdrop is comedy. So, because I feel like comedy is a great way to get a message through. So you're telling these true stories and they're done as reenactments. So it's similar to like Drunk History, if you've ever seen that on Comedy Central. And I love doing that. That's literally, it's a lot of work when you're doing stuff yourself, but it's a labor of love because, I feel like there's a dark child, Chronicles of a Dark Child is in any industry.
Yeah.
I just used, Hollywood as the black backdrop because that was my reality. But the goal is to tell stories, from in every environment. Academia, there's, people deal with discrimination because they're a person of color. The medical field, I've heard stories. All kinds of fields. So
business field.
All of them. So that's the goal with upcoming seasons, is to just kind of open it up to other environments outside of Hollywood. And you're right. I'm like, what do I even talk about? And then, again, just when you reach a point in your life, having invested, and some people may not even think that's a long time, but 11 years to me is a long time. But having invested 11 years of my life into the entertainment industry, I just kind of reached a point where I was just like, all right, what else am I supposed to be doing? Maybe that's just that goal-oriented person that I am. I'm like, I just feel like I'm supposed to be doing something more. And I prayed on it and I meditated on it. And, a lot of signs just kind of pointed to me using my own health as a form of healing. And we are, as women, we're all healers. Yeah. So just tapping into that more. I'm currently in school and pursuing an additional career. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily leaving TV, but just adding something on to the resume that it would be in the health and medical field. And, other projects that I have going on, just, writing scripts, working on a coming of age. I'm co-writing a coming of age short film with my best friend. So just growing up on the south side of Chicago. South side. And so many things to come. But in the meantime, really, it's just been about taking it a day at a time, because I've always just been go, 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 go. Okay, what's next? And never really being present and enjoying the now.
Savoring it.
Yeah. So, that's kind of where I am. Definitely having my goals, but also just kind of really being present and enjoying that, traveling again. And
awesome. And where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at ms_DEE Marie. So that's Miss_D Marie. And you can find my series on Instagram at I think it's Dark Child in Hollywood, like the letter N, and H Wood.
Awesome. Okay. Awesome. Please check it out. It's
I'm
great series. Award-winning series. Yes.
Right. I'm already there. I'm checking it out.
It's so good. You have to check it out. And it's real stories. So it's very, very powerful. And so where can people find you, Nick?
Oh, I'm on IG, official Nate Fox. That's my actor name. That's like my alter ego. Like Nick Reynolds is the sickle cell warrior. Nate Fox is like the actor, superhero, action. Like this pilot season is going to be a good pilot season. I feel like, because I'm going to be out here. Michael B. Who? Nah.
Exactly. I'm seeing all the guns. You're letting the guns just get out there.
Y'all need a new action comedy person, like I turn all my pain into comedy anyway. So.
Yeah.
And I don't even be trying to make people laugh, but they be laughing. So why not? You know.
I love it.
So it's official_Nate Fox. You can find me there.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. This
Thank
is
you.
amazing platform that you have. It's just, I can't thank you. What you're doing is amazing.
And
It's amazing
check out
work.
her scars video because it's lit. It's really lit. I told her when we met in acting class, I was like, "Hey, you talented, girl. Like, okay, you know, you are talented now. Like, okay."
Thank you.
You
I
keep
appreciate
killing.
you. And I appreciate both of you for your time, for your honesty, your openness. And I believe when you're transparent, you give other people permission to be their true selves as well. So it's just very powerful. So thank you for sharing your experiences and empowering others.
It's no problem. Thank you for giving us this platform.
Absolutely.